Good afternoon. Today I've got one tip to help you earn an extra $500 a month in passive income. Now, this tip, once it's set up, can actually be easy, but it may take some work to get this set up. And that is the concept of subletting. Subletting is when you rent property that you yourself are renting. And there is a prevalent myth that this is always illegal, and it's not. It depends on your state or your country if you don't live in the United States. And it also depends on the contract or the lease that you sign when you are renting a piece of property. Some landlords permit subletting, others do not. And so you need to understand the law and also the contract that you're signing. But if subletting is permitted, this is a very good way for you to be able to earn an extra passive income. And what do I mean is you actually enable someone else to rent some of that property or even the whole property for some of the time. For instance, if you own an apartment, I'm sorry, if you rent an apartment and you sublet a room, you can rent out part of that property to another person, and then you get to keep some of that money. You can do this through sites like Airbnb. You might be able to rent a property, and if they allow subletting, specifically if they allow daily rentals, you can sublet that property out. So, for instance, if you are renting a one bedroom apartment for, say, $750, if you're renting it out on Airbnb for $50 a day, you wouldn't even need to cover the entire month. You'd only need to cover 15 days out of the month in order to break even on what you're paying in rent. The other thing that you can do too is if you lock in a long term lease, you can get a lower rent in some cases because a lot of landlords may not necessarily want to go through all the work involved in doing tenant changeover. And so if you say, hey, you'll sign a 2 or 3 year lease with them, you might be able to negotiate the rent down some, which gives you a potential for more money. The other thing too is that when you're subletting, you're not taking on the risk you take on with home ownership. And you don't have to come up with a huge down payment for a property in order to own that property and rent it out. There's a lot of lucrative opportunities with subletting. Again, you have to make sure you understand the law. It isn't for everybody. And you also need to make sure you understand your contract too, and that you are willing to do some of the work in order to get something like this set up. But once it's set up, it can produce a significant amount of income for you. I say $500 a month, but really, if you get the right property and the right market, you could make even more than that in a given month. Please post a question or a comment. Send me a private message if you want to talk about it privately. Again, this isn't for everybody, but it is a great way that you could make more money. And until next time, I wish you unlimited success.